Hello and welcome to today's video. Today is another Robert Oster ink family color video thing, and I've chosen 4 inks that fall into the red category. These are categorized as red by Robert on his sort of swatch sheet. The first one is Crimson River. Then we have Crimson Sushi, which is a little pink in my, for my taste for this, and then Burgundy. So 4 inks that come under the red category. Of these 4, the closest to like a standard red is Crimson River. There's not a lot of like super red reds from Robert Oster, that sort of bright, vibrant red. What I've done is I've taken 2 inks like that from another brand, because I want to show each of these alongside these, and they're very similar, have similar sort of gold sheen, similar hue. One is Diamond Poppy Red, the other one is Waterman Audacious Red. So you can see there, once you put it alongside these 2 very sort of poppy, vibrant reds, you see that it's got a lot of pink, and it's like in the lighter shading it's quite pink, and in the darker shading it's got a very sort of blood reddy kind of tone to it. Next is the Crimson, which once again is similar. This has got a bit more earthy red to it, which I really quite like, particularly in some of that sort of like mid shading. It's got a nice, nice earthy red tone. Sushi, when you see it alongside those, super pink. It's almost like a flamingo pink, if you will. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful coloured ink, and it's great for artwork and things like that. But on the pinker end of the red. And then of course we have Burgundy here, which is a very earthy, rusty, coppery red, which I really enjoy. It reminds me a lot of some of those, you know those like red velvet cushions in churches? It kind of has that feel to me. I don't know if that'll make sense to him. It makes sense to me as a memory of my youth working in churches as a boy soprano. So those are the 4 colours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show them on Tomoe River, and I'm going to, next to it, put a sort of more colour corrected image. I filmed these under a mix of natural light and LED light. I've taken high quality photo of each ink on the next page, and I have just colour corrected it so that it matches closely to what I see in real life. So let's start that now. Here I have the 4 inks on a page of Tomoe River paper. This is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. Like always, travel bond or bond travel gear notebook, not made anymore, but the standard 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. So let's have a look. First is Crimson River, as I said before. This has got some pink. On Tomoe River, Robert Oster inks sometimes tend to become a little bit more muted and earthy, and we see that here. In some of the darker shading, you've got some of that lovely red coming through, but generally it's a more sort of, it does have a sort of a pinkier kind of tone to it. Crimson stays a little more red. It's got some orange coming through. I really like Crimson. I think it's got a very nice, as I said, earthy red tone. Burgundy is pretty dark, but I like it. It's almost on the brownie end of red, and it kind of looks, as I said, like it's kind of got a chocolatey kind of look to it. Very nice. And Sushi is definitely a pink red, and I think it's actually, I personally consider this a pink. You can see in some of the darker shading spots where it pulls, it is a little red. Nice ink, but for me, it is a pink, not a red. Next, I have the inks here on Rhodia paper. This is the 80 GSM Rhodia. And I've done a similar thing where I've written with the ink, done a little swatch, and then I've done a water test. And for the water test, I did 2 things. First was I put like a big drop of water down, let it sit for a second, and then dabbed it up with paper towel. And then the second thing I've done is I've hit each of these exterior lines with a water brush pen to see how the ink moves around. So with Crimson River, what we see is a really sort of like, it's not water resistant in any way, but there is a grey held behind. It performs okay in that respect. Moving it around, this is an ink I have used for art a lot, because I think it actually moves beautifully and creates some lovely shading effects. Like you can even see just in this puddle here, where it goes from the lighter shade through the darker shading. Makes for really lovely artwork. But yeah, sort of a nice pinky red. And then the crimson, we definitely see a lot more of that red. On Rhodia here, it looks great. I really enjoy that. Nice shading, nice sort of dark red, rich red. Not a vibrant red though. Water resistance, it's okay. You can see most of it. Like, these are performing better than a lot of other inks do. Moving it around, once again, it's nice. You get some nice shading, and it's a fairly well saturated ink. Both these first two are quite saturated, so you do get a bit of movement around. Burgundy is even more saturated again. Once again, we see that dark browny red, rusty coppery red, which is great. And a little bit of water resistance. You can see there's a little bit left behind, so you can make out what was there. But it does move around a lot for art, water use, things like that, which is excellent. None of these are water resistant. You know, they just, you can just make out what is left on the page. That's it. And then with Sushi, that's a little bit less. That pink, that light pink shading, and that sort of more reddy pink looks nice on here. The shading is good, and the water resistance is okay for a color that is this light. So that was 4 red inks from Robert Oster. We had Crimson River, Crimson, Burgundy, and the quite pink Sushi. As I said, these all come under the red category in Robert's own sort of collection of his works on his like swatch sheets. So there's some nice things going on here. What I really like about Robert is particularly well known for his blues and greens, and I have covered a couple of those already. But I think with the reds, what you end up getting is you get some lovely pinks and like light sort of, you know, browns and things sort of coming through across the range. They're nice inks, they perform well. Robert Oster's inks are safe, they're clean, they're easy to clean. None are so highly saturated that it becomes bad for your pens. Yes, we do get sheen and things like that, so there is a certain saturation that is required for that. But they're not, you know, super saturated, but also not water resistant and all those kinds of things. Just good, safe inks in sort of like nice variations on what is considered a red. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here, or drop me an email which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support this channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your inks, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.